Alright, that last video was a little bad, so this is the second try and final try. Harry Potter Wizards Unite. New characters. Here's your guide. Log in, create a character, complete the tutorial. Done. Go to Suitcases, which is where we were, Settings, which is in the top right, and scroll all the way down to Download Assets. This reduces the number of files the game has to download during encounters, which it would normally download the first time you need them. And because they're already on your phone, it saves a lot of mobile data. You can also turn off the AR Plus and the map camera idle. AR if you don't want it, and camera idle will stop your camera from recentering every 5 seconds. So now that that's squared away, we're going to get out there and encounter some traces. This is going to be the first way you level up. You beat these by tracing the spell shown quickly and accurately. If you aren't accurate, a red dot will show you where you first went wrong, and if you're not quick, it just will cancel the spell. Sometimes, as you see here, it's one you fight instead, so you click on the wand, you aim it towards that bullseye, and you then trace the spell. If the circle hasn't completed yet, don't let go, otherwise you will have to restart and fill the whole circle again. So a successful encounter gets you XP, as well as family XP that matches the family of the creature, such as oddities in this case. You can click on that picture to get even more XP once you do finally collect all the fragments. And in this case, we level up and get the trunk rewards, which is usually scrolls and runestones. Scrolls for the skill tree and runestones for the fortresses. So, also sometimes you see that icon coming off the icon. You see the beam coming off the icon, which usually indicates a more difficult opponent. So, you also get a chance to complete a page when you have all the fragments for everything on that page, and you can prestige it. Prestige is a button that's in the top right corner that lets you complete the page, archive it, and restart it. You'll be able to get the new experience for all of those creatures again, and it will actually be a little higher this time, but it does require more fragments for each of them. So you probably run out of energy at this point, so you're going to go eat at some inns to regain it. Now, also, if you don't know how much you have, you can look in the vault on that top left corner, and that'll tell you. It's not always apparent to some people. So while you've been fighting traces, you've also come across some Portkeys. You can use your golden key infinitely to start the 2k and 5k Portkeys. At this point, you'll walk the distance listed. You can use the silver keys on 10k Portkeys, or you can use your golden key again, but that is the best items to use the silver keys on. So once you finish walking the correct distance, your golden key can be reused, even before you use the Portkey that you just unlocked. This means that you can save up all 8 of your ready-to-use Portkeys, and then open them at once with a Brainiac Elixir to double the XP you get. So this right here shows you kind of how a Portkey works. You identify these golden I forgot what they're called already, and it just showed it. And you gain a random reward. For example, unicorn hair, which is pretty rare. XP, where we got 50. So I've run a few tests, and the experience return for a 2k isn't really worth it for the double K XP, and maybe not even using it for a 5k Portkey. You get the random 5 rewards, which means that you can get anywhere from 0 to 3000 XP, depending on the Portkey level and how many XP icons you got. So you can kind of tell which Portkey is which based on the background color. So silver, bronze, and gold, which means you can get rid of those 2k Portkeys as you go. So back to scrolls. Now that you're level 6, and you are level 6 by this point, you can choose a profession. Choose whatever you want, and know that you can change it at any time. But if you have a group of friends that you play with, try to have some variety. They do have 3 different sets of charms that you can use in the fortress battles. This is the screen where you can share your, or change your profession. So those 3 different sets of charms you can see on the profession screen. Magizoologist is mostly a healing, buffing category. Aurs have both debuffs and buffs, I believe, and Professors is another mix of healing and buffing. But now to get these, you go into the skill tree and you use the scrolls that you've earned from those chests and from leveling up. The cost does increase from level to level, so it'll be 4, then 5, and the increments go up as well. So one level may be 10, and the next will be 15, and the one after that will be 18. So my recommended strategy is to make a beeline for those charms so you can unlock all 4. I am actually short one right now. I do not have the buff, so I'm going to get that one, and then I will go back and upgrade some of the other ones, but play how you'd like. So at this point, you're pretty much ready for a fortress battle, but you want to stock up on runes and potions. You already have the runes, and potions you can get from leveling up or from brewing them. So by this point, you have plenty of ingredients, and on average, you only need to keep about 3 to 6 of each ingredient type, unless it's one of the rare ones, like unicorn hair. I also find leaping toadstools to be hard to come by, but fortunately you can grow them in a greenhouse. So I haven't mentioned greenhouses yet. Basically they're like an inn that gives you ingredients instead of energy, but also sometimes gives you energy, so if you're running short you can always open those. The reason inns are still pretty much better is because your ingredient inventory size is relatively small, and the increments at which you increase it when you buy it with coins is also pretty small, so it's always going to stay about that. So you see here that you can increase the amount of rewards that you get from a greenhouse by putting in energy, but you should note that when you're growing something, you don't necessarily get to pick it up. The person who picks it up is the one who's there when the timer's out, and you can't decrease that timer any. So don't add your energy to it unless you know you're going to be the one to pick it up, or if you're pretty generous, I don't know, maybe if you're a Hufflepuff. So now you should have all your potions, if you have brewed them, which is again a waiting time, and you're ready for that fortress. So you come into the fortress and you, sorry, I was just going to check my XP. You come into the fortress, you choose your chamber, and you choose a runestone. So the chamber is the level in the fortress, and that is your main difficulty rating. The higher the level, the less likely you'll be able to beat it without a team. The runestone also affects the difficulty, and it affects the characters you encounter and the rewards. So if you're looking for rewards from the Care of Magical Creatures, you want to use a Care of Magical Creatures rune. So this is one of those areas where you can use your buffs, and the way you use the buff is you drag it from that bottom all the way up to the icon for the player at the top that I just blew past because I don't have anyone to use it on. This is another battle sequence where you see we aim at the Urgling and protect ourselves when it's its turn to attack. I'll also probably have to use a lot of potions to increase my attack and make sure I get this unlocked. So if you do have team members, you should note that only one person can fight an enemy at a time. So be very smart about it. Magizoologists should fight the beasts, and Aurors and Professors should fight everything else. Magizoologists are probably the best buffers in the game, and they can also revive people, which saves you about 30 seconds of waiting time. You're going to want to work your way up that fortress ladder until you have the highest tier unlocked. And at that point, I believe it will be the best source of experience per time. so the fastest source. But if you did have a lot of 10k Portkeys and you still wanted to open them, that's a good route to go when you're using your double XP elixir. The only other notable thing about these towers is that there are certain levels that you can't fight until you are level 10, so you can't just let your other team members carry you. Also at level 10 you'll unlock the faster brewing potion cauldron, but that costs coins to use, and it's unlikely that that'll be an efficient use of coins. So this is pretty much it. I'm sure I haven't covered everything, but basically just use experience potions and fight a lot of random encounters, and then move to fortresses when you're a high level. And that's about it. So you can see here we're getting our Care of Magical Creatures rewards, and I am a magizoologist, so this works well for me. I hope this helped, and good luck playing Wizards United.